It's day two of an all-action weekend here at Mondello Park in Ireland. The teams have been burning the midnight oil to get cars race ready. It's day two of a double header and it's vital for points. Yesterday, the final was drama all the way. Julian Godfrey was the meat of the sandwich on the way to the first corner, but come the end of the race, he prevailed to take a second successive win in this year's British Rallycross Championship. There was lots of needle between Ollie O'Donovan and Derek Toyo, the two Irish drivers going toe-to-toe. But Julian Godfrey worked the Joker lap to perfection. He managed to fend off a tap in the tail from O'Donovan, who tried everything to get past him. For Julian Godfrey, it was win number 2 of the season, the first double winner. So 4 rounds in, he leads the championship, but jointly with Ollie Bennett. The former rallyman is ahead by 3 points of Ollie O'Donovan, with Kevin Proctor 4. Today looks a little different because the circuit is being run in the clockwise direction. The Joker lap is in a different place. The circuit's largely the same apart from that. And one thing it is, it's fast and flowing and full of drama.
Julian, you scored your second win of the season in round 4, and you're now jointly leading the championship with Oliver Bennett. What's your strategy for today at Mondello?
Much the same as yesterday. Try and get out of trouble, get into the semi and try and get onto the front row of the final. I actually prefer this layout. Just the Joker lap, I need to practice a bit more, so I was a bit slow on practice on the Joker lap, so need to improve there, but apart from the rest of the track, it's not so bad for me.
The big race is coming up. This is the MSA British Rallycross Championship final. 6 laps ahead of us. It's all eyes on the grid, where Ollie Bennett starts on pole. Julian Godfrey is alongside him, and then Kevin Proctor. Row 2 is Tony Bardi and Nathan Heathcote. Row 3, Noel Green, Steve Hill and Derek Tohill. 6 laps of action. When the lights go green, we are racing! Good start by Proctor on the outside, good start by Bennett on the inside. Julian Godfrey gets into the side of Proctor, and out of nowhere, Derek Tohill goes third. Fantastic start. He's sideways, he's in the dust storm. He drops back behind Godfrey. Down to the hole in the hedge they come for the first time, but an absolutely demon start by Derek Tohill from last on the grid. Who jokers early? Bardi does, Hill does behind him. The race leaders then dance their way across the loose for the first time. Ollie Bennett it is, and he's got a bit of a break over Kevin Proctor second. It's Julian Godfrey third, Derek Tohill is fourth, Nathan Heathcote fifth then as they work their way up towards the end of lap number 1. But Bennett trying to get away from the pack, busy scrapping behind him as they come through. Proctor is under attack from Julian Godfrey here, and Godfrey's under attack from Derek Tohill here, and out wide goes Proctor. How wide has he gone? He's going to have to pay to get back in a minute. There he is. Rejoins the road, but from second, he's down to third, down to fourth, nearly down to fifth. Nathan Heathcote goes ahead of him as well. Godfrey and Tohill take the Joker lap. And so now, as the leaders come back across the loose, Kevin Proctor drops way down the order. He'll be absolutely furious with himself because that's another good result gone begging. Towards the timing line they come, and Godfrey now, head down, is charging on behind Ollie Bennett. The gap between the top 2 is diminishing all the time here. Tony Bardi battles with Steve Hill over the line, and Hill goes through at turn 1. Through the right-hander of Mobile 1, the Mitsubishi is ahead of the Ford. Ollie Bennett, though, he's going to have to make this car grow in width because he's got Julian Godfrey bearing down on him. Across the loose section, that shuttle that brings them down towards the final right-hander. Bennett up the curve and sideways. Godfrey, 5 times a British champion. The only double winner this year in the Supercar category, the only man to have won more than once. He's right there behind Bennett, trying to unsettle him as Bennett gets really sideways. That's going to lose him a bit of momentum. Here comes Godfrey, looks for the inside, can't do it. Bennett does make his Fiesta wide enough. He serves the Joker this time. Godfrey accelerates through into the lead of the race. But what can Bennett do about him as the race continues? Up into second place now goes Nathan Heathcote in the Citroen. And Ollie Bennett is on the loose through this chute that brings him back down to the end of the lap. He has stayed ahead of Tohill significantly and ahead of Kevin Proctor as well. Steve Hill is fending off Tony Bardi, but Julian Godfrey now looks as though he could be on not only for a second win of the weekend, but a third win of the season. He didn't start off too promisingly at Croft nor at Lyddon, but since Pembrey and here, he's absolutely flying. Nathan Heathcote this time goes for the Joker lap. It's going to make for a very exciting end to the championship season. There's Lyddon, another visit to Pembrey, and then back to Croft for the final round still to come. Wide goes Heathcote, Derek Tohill gets up the inside and through he goes. Derek Tohill, the Irishman, gains a place, goes ahead of the Croft winner. So Tohill not chasing championship points, but he does want to be on that podium as the best of the Irish drivers and see how many British Championship scalps he can claim. Through Mobile 1 they turn up towards the hole in the hedge. This is the tight right-hander. It's even tighter if you serve the joker lap. Tohill lets the back of the car step out, but he's on the pad, drags it round the other side. Been great to have Derek Tohill in the championship this weekend, but up front Julian Godfrey leads and Ollie Bennett is almost with him. The gap is coming down and down and down with only a couple of corners to go. Bennett tries to straight line the corner using the curve, but it doesn't work for him. Julian Godfrey is set for win number 3 of the season, win number 2 of the weekend. Julian Godfrey wins, Ollie Bennett takes second at the end of a great race. Let's just confirm those results. Julian Godfrey the winner from Ollie Bennett and Derek Tohill third. Nathan Heathcote fourth ahead of Kevin Proctor. Steve Hill sixth, Noel Green seventh, Tony Bardi eighth.
The second round of the championship here at Mondello, round 5 overall, and another victory.
Yeah, it's played into my hands in the final. Not so good in the heats today. One good heat and 2 bad ones, which put me on the second row of the semi-final. Unfortunately, I had so much damage on the car, all the mirrors and glasses are broken, so I couldn't see much behind me.
A great drive in the final, just not quite enough to beat Julian today.
Yeah, it was great. I was going into the final. I knew I had pole, so I was in a good position. I led from the start, had a really good start and just pulled then. And then it was just a case of how quick could I get round. It's really hard to know how far to push it when you're leading. So a bit cautious in places maybe, but yeah, I couldn't have done better.
And as far as the championship is concerned, Julian Godfrey leaves Ireland 3 points ahead of Ollie Bennett. Ollie O'Donovan is third ahead of Kevin Proctor. Nathan Heathcote fifth and Mad Mark is sixth. As ever, the juniors have been in fine form all weekend. Tom Llewellyn, finally beaten yesterday, has been quickest across all 3 qualifying heats. Tom Llewellyn, the man to beat again. Morgan Root second, Tom Constantine third after qualifying with yesterday's winner Ole Henrik Steinsholt fourth. The final is 6 laps and we are good to go racing. Pole position for Tom Llewellyn. Alongside him is Morgan Root and then Tom Constantine, with Ole Henry Steinsholt sharing the next row with James Constantine, and it's Tom Middleton at the back of the grid. The lights go to green, we're away and racing. Who makes the best start? The answer is Llewellyn. He's got the inside line as Morgan Root drops back just a little bit on the run down towards Mobile 1. Onto the loose they go, and lots of understeer, and that forces Constantine out wide and it puts Root into the lead. Llewellyn carried a lot of speed into the corner, ran a bit wide, so did Constantine as well, and it means that Morgan Root leads ahead of Tom Llewellyn, who jokers early. Let's see in the background as the 2 leaders run nose to tail. Llewellyn knows all about joker laps because in one of the heats yesterday, in round 4 of the championship, he forgot to serve it and copped a penalty, so there is no such mistake being made here. Not every Rallycross circuit has a joker lap. For example, there isn't one at Croft, but here at Mondello it has certainly added to the drama in the racing. At the end of lap 1, Morgan Root will lead the way. Tom Llewellyn right up behind him in second place. Over the line they come. These cars looking decidedly slower compared to the supercars, but that's not to say the drivers aren't trying just as hard. Tom Llewellyn, Father David, remember, multiple British rally champion, is right there on the tail of Morgan Root. Root's car looking a bit battered around the front, doesn't it? And Tom Llewellyn goes for the joker now. It's a slower run. You've got these 2 man-made chicanes to slalom your way through. And there as well, you've got Tom Middleton. He started at the back of the pack, and Middleton is hustling on in his pursuit of Tom Llewellyn. He's ahead of Ole Henry Steinsholt, yesterday's winner, who's had a really bad day in comparison. Whether it's a confidence thing, he's overconfident, or whether he's had a problem, it's really hard to gauge, but the pace just has not looked as good as yesterday. So the Norwegian driver, Ole Henry Steinsholt, is at the back of the pack here, and certainly not looking anything like as commanding or as convincing as he did 24 hours ago. The leaders come over the timing line, another lap in the book now. Tom Middleton is on the loose once again here. Ahead of him is Tom Constantine, behind him is Ole Henry Steinsholt, and as they break now for the hole in the hedge and turn through the right-hander, remember that up the road, Tom Llewellyn is trying to build that gap over everybody else, and so far, so good. Out of the Irish Ferries right-hander, down that shuttle towards Southside Motor Factors corner. And then they work their way back onto the tarmac. Wipers on because the wet shale to keep down the dust is slippy, and it also throws some of that grit into the windscreen of the car behind. But Tom Llewellyn leads as he turns into Mobile 1. He's out on his own. The unbeaten winning record came to an end yesterday thanks to Ole Henry Steinsholt, but Llewellyn has put him in his place today, look, because Steinsholt is back in 5th place here as they work down again towards the hole in the hedge. And Steinsholt behind Tom Middleton, who started at the back of the pack. They thread their way then onto the loose for the last time, but it's looking good for Tom Llewellyn. He leads the way, and not only that, but he's on his own. This has been the case so often in the championship this year. He dominates, and dominates by some margin. It's going to be fascinating to see whether Rallycross or rallying attracts him in the future, but right now it's the checkered flag that's the centre of his world. He comes across the line to score victory in the final. Second is going to go the way of Tom Constantine, and Morgan Root on target for third as they head to the line. Tom Llewellyn wins again ahead of Tom Constantine, Morgan Root taking third from Tom Middleton, Ole Henry Steinsholt fifth, James Constantine a retirement. In the championship then, Tom Llewellyn's advantage increases over Ole Henry Steinsholt with Tom Constantine third, and it's Morgan Root in fourth. It's the Supernational Rallycross Championship final here at Mondello Park. Tristan Ovenden is on pole position with Piers Brown and Tony Lynch alongside. Row 2 is Michael Coyne and Lloyd Spendlove, with Willie Coyne, Mike Howlin and Paige Bellaby at the back of the grid. Lights go green, we're racing. Tristan Ovenden in the V6 Clio blasts away from pole position, and he leads into turn 1. Second is the BMW Compact of Piers Brown, and last year's champion Tony Lynch, winner yesterday in Supernational Rallycross here in round 4 of the British Championship. He is third as they work their way right through the hole in the hedge for the first time. There's the Joker lap turning point here, and Paige Bellaby takes that straight away, as does Mike Howlin, as also does Michael Coyne. Paige Bellaby won the first 3 rounds on the bounce, defeated yesterday, and has work to do here. But Tristan Ovenden, who's yet to win this season despite prodigious pace in the Clio, leads the way up towards the timing line. Piers Brown is second in the BMW, Tony Lynch is third, and Lynch knows he's got to get past, and soon, otherwise Ovenden will be away up the road. That Clio is a very powerful car. It's got about 90 horsepower more than Tony Lynch's Ford car there. They break for the hole in the hedge, and Lynch serves the Joker. It's a tighter lap, of course, because you've got that hairpin really onto it, so you're slower to begin with, and there are the chicanes in there. But it's the same for everybody, because each driver has to do the Joker lap once over the course of a race. Piers Brown in the BMW then, onto the tarmac once more, and there chasing on behind is Lloyd Spendlove. The tail wags out on the Lotus as he comes up towards the line. Tony Lynch drops back, then having taken the Joker this time. In 101, Lloyd Spendlove hits the loose, going through Mobile 1, and then accelerates through turn 2 towards the hole in the hedge. Mondello has been the scene of some great racing all weekend. A full day yesterday, a full day today, and it's been a very popular addition to the calendar once again. Now they've got Guy Corner in as a reserve, accelerating his way onto the loose section of circuit once more. So Guy Corner going strongly. Lloyd Spendlove drops back behind the Peugeot 206, as there is Tristan Ovenden building the advantage all the time and looking as though he might be on for the first win of the season for that car. It's the ex-Jamie Bird car from a long, long time back. Guy Corner accelerating his way now out of turn 1, over the brow. So he's managed to jump in as a reserve and going nice and strongly here. He runs 4th ahead of Spendlove, and this is the race they all need to do well in. This is where the championship big buck points are on offer. Tristan Ovenden then is heading towards the line, and look, he's on his own now. Tony Lynch is chasing him hard, admittedly, but the gap is a large one. There's Mike Howlin's Ford Fiesta coming over the brow. Has Howlin got a problem? I think he might have. He's dropped a long way back from everybody else and slowly makes his way up towards the line now. There's a great battle pack raging on here, look. In 104, Michael Coyne, who's on the back of Willie Coyne, who's on the back of Lloyd Spendlove, who's on the back of Piers Brown. So all the Irish drivers getting themselves together for a really good scrap here with one more lap to run. Tristan Ovenden, though, is heading to the checkered flag. He's heading for a maiden victory. 2 different winners in the 2 rounds here. That's how it should be in Rallycross. Checkered flag is waved, and it is a win for Tristan Ovenden at long last. Mike Howlin staggers to the flag with the troubled Fiesta. Tony Lynch takes second, and this is the fight for third. Piers Brown just ahead of Spendlove, just ahead of Willie Coyne. Action all the way through the Supernationals visit to Mondello Park. Tristan Ovenden the winner from Tony Lynch. Piers Brown third ahead of Lloyd Spendlove in fourth place. 5 rounds down in the championship. Paige Bellaby still leads the championship, but Tristan Ovenden is getting closer. Todd Crooks is third, and it's Guy Corner fourth ahead of Tony Lynch. Next time, we're going to be back in the UK, the spiritual home of British Rallycross. We're at Lyddon. See you there.